Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're zeroing in on Reliance's absolute rise to power. It's a completely wild story of audacious vision, ruthless disruption, and a scale of growth that literally touches just about every single aspect of modern Indian life. Let's dive right in. 21 lakh crore rupees. Just let that massive valuation sink in for a second. To really wrap your head around a number that big, you have to look at where it all started. A tiny 500-square-foot trading office in Mumbai back in 1958. From trading polyester yarn and spices in that little room, they haven't just grown a business. They've basically built a parallel infrastructure for a rapidly developing nation. Today, they're powering the energy we use, the networks we rely on, and the stores where we shop. Here's how we're going to break this massive empire down today. First, the foundation and the split. Second, building an energy behemoth. Third, conquering the retail market. Fourth, the geo-digital revolution. And finally, number 5, the green energy future.
All right, part 1, the foundation and the split. Let's see how this giant was actually born.
Okay, picture this. Dhirubhai Ambani, who famously used to work as a clerk at a gas station in Aden, comes back to India with a dream that frankly seemed impossible at the time. Traditional banks, they were super skeptical. They absolutely wouldn't fund his ambitions for his textile brand, Vimal. So what did he do? He just bypassed them entirely. By launching that historic 10 rupee IPO in 1977, he didn't just fund his company, he basically introduced the entire Indian middle class to the stock market. He created this incredibly loyal cult of retail investors and permanently changed corporate financing in India.
But, that soaring, unified vision, it didn't last forever. After Dhirubhai's sudden passing in 2002, there was no clear succession plan. Suddenly, a massive 90,000 crore rupee empire was just up for grabs, deeply dividing his two sons. It turned into this fiercely public boardroom battle that eventually ended in a brokered settlement. Mukesh took control of the heavy industry, sort of old economy assets like energy and refining. Anil, on the other hand, walked away with what everyone thought were the crown jewels of the future, the new economy sectors, including telecom and financial services.
And this brings us to one of the biggest, almost unbelievable ironies in modern corporate history. Anil originally won that highly coveted telecom business, right? But his ventures buckled under immense debt and crazy competition, eventually leading to bankruptcy by 2019. Meanwhile, Mukesh had been entirely boxed out of telecom by a non-compete clause, but he just patiently bided his time. The literal second that clause expired, he re-entered the market with Jio, executed a flawless strategy, and achieved absolute dominance.
Moving on to Section 2, building an energy behemoth.
Global experts literally told them, no way, you can't do this. They were building in a barren desert with no infrastructure and barely any water. But Reliance pulled off an absolute engineering marvel with the Jamnagar refinery. Not only did they finish it in a world record 33 months while surviving a massive cyclone right in the middle of construction, I might add, they actually did it at a 40% lower cost per ton than other Asian refineries at the time. By getting this online, they single-handedly flipped India from being a net importer of refined petroleum to being totally self-sufficient in transport fuels. Today is the world's largest single-location refining complex, and it can uniquely process 47 different grades of crude from all over the planet. But get this, here's a genuinely surprising fact for you. To counter the heavy pollution from refining, they aggressively terraformed this arid desert into a lush green zone. It's now home to Asia's largest mango orchard with 150,000 trees, meaning this giant oil conglomerate is actually one of India's top mango producers. It also houses the Vantara Wildlife Rehabilitation Home, creating this wildly surreal balance between massive heavy industry and environmental restoration. All right, Section 3, conquering the retail market. In 2006, Mukesh Ambani announced a staggering 25,000 crore rupee war chest to go after the Indian consumer. They didn't just want to open a few stores. They basically wanted to become the infrastructure of your entire daily life. Think about your own day for a second. You might buy your groceries at Reliance Smart, order a new shirt on AGO, and then go pick up a phone at Reliance Digital. Through incredibly aggressive organic growth and massive acquisitions, like snapping up Hamleys, investing in Dunzo for logistics, and even bringing back Campa Cola for that deep nostalgia hit, they've built this omnipresent retail empire. It's an absolute masterclass in capturing consumer spending across literally every vertical.
Section 4, the geo-digital revolution. In 2016, the launch of Jio didn't just introduce a new SIM card, it triggered a massive disruption for the entire country.
When researchers ran a massive academic study to see what Jio's actual ground-level impact was, the numbers were just staggering.
They found that an astonishing 83.33% of the people they surveyed were using Jio services. That is wild. This wasn't just a flashy product launch. It was a fundamental reshaping of India's digital ecosystem. It literally forced every other competitor in the market to either adapt to a high-volume, low-margin reality overnight or face immediate extinction.
And how did they pull that off against established giants? Well, a huge part of the strategy was going straight for the youth. They captured a massive 68% of the 19 to 25 demographic. They essentially flooded the market with unprecedented free data and voice services right out of the gate. They subsidized a digital awakening, hooked an entire generation on high-speed internet, and then seamlessly moved them over to super competitive prepaid plans once the habit was locked in.
The data shows us that raw internet speed was actually the primary driver for nearly 47% of users who switched over. By offering superior 4G infrastructure right from day one, and now pushing hard into nationwide 5G, Jio didn't just steal customers from Airtel and Vodafone. They catalyzed a massive wave of digital inclusion across all socioeconomic segments. They took mobile phones, which were mostly just for making voice calls at the time, and turned them into highly affordable mass broadband for hundreds of millions of people.
To scale that fast, they backed it all up with a phenomenal 1.65 lakh crore infrastructure investment, including over 250,000 kilometers of fiber optic cables. Jio scaled at a pace that we've rarely ever seen in global business history. Today, they are sitting at over 467 million active subscribers. That user base makes them the largest mobile network operator in India and the third largest on the entire planet.
Finally, Section 5. The green energy future. So, what does a giant oil, retail, and telecom conglomerate do next?
Recognizing that the world is moving permanently away from fossil fuels, they aren't just coasting, they're making their biggest pivot yet toward a clean energy ecosystem. They've set this incredibly ambitious target to achieve net zero carbon status by 2035, and to actually get there, they aren't just buying carbon offsets, they're building an integrated solar value chain from scratch, investing heavily in green hydrogen, and scaling up recycling initiatives like doubling their PET bottle recycling capacity to a mind-blowing 5 billion bottles every single year.
Mukesh Ambani has laid this out super clearly, stating they have a 15-year vision to build Reliance into one of the world's leading new energy and new materials companies. For them, this isn't just a PR stunt or about ticking regulatory boxes. They see a massive, highly lucrative opportunity to completely decarbonize their own industrial footprint and bridge the global green energy divide. They are absolutely betting that making clean energy affordable is going to be the next great wealth generator of this century.
So, as they pour tens of billions of dollars into advanced battery tech and renewable infrastructure, it leaves us with one massive question to think about. Can Reliance's green transition actually transform India from a net energy importer into a dominant global net energy exporter? If their past execution in refining, retail, and telecom is any clue, this is a transition the whole world needs to be watching incredibly closely. Thanks for tuning into this explainer. Keep questioning the world around you, and we'll see you next time.